If only we got a badass battle sequence between the T-Rex and a bulldozer. Then we'd have the proper remake to Carnosaur. Hello YouTube, this is Adam Noisavain Productions, and this is a very special kind of review thingy, just like the review previous before this, which was Night of the Fire Beast. You should go watch that, plug. I'm doing something a little special here. I'm doing this for my friend Patrick Galvan, aka the Unknown A37, who is mainly known for his stop-motion videos that are very, very ambitious and very, very epic. He made kind of two of them. He made one of them was Godzilla vs. Gamera, and the other one was Godzilla vs. BAGAN. Both are excellent, and you should go watch them. They're claymation stop-motion videos, and I just want to say, Patrick, that people were talking about you at G-Fest. Just wanted to let you know that, and it made me feel like, yeah, I know that guy. Him and I are friends. I just wanted to mention that. But this, I'm going to talk about one of his movies. It was his new released film. Unfortunately, I cannot pronounce Mortem Venatur, something like that, Ace Ventura. But anyways, it translates to Death Hunt. And you thought I was pretentious when it came to my religious symbolism. You're very pretentious when it comes to your titles, Patrick. But, you know, I said I would review it when it came out, and here I am reviewing it, which was his film. In case you haven't noticed, Patrick Galvan mainly does stop-motion videos, and so on and so forth, and this is his stop-motion film, dedicated to Ray Harryhausen, and it was good. I'm not just saying that. It was actually really good. It actually, in a few ways, exceeded my expectations. And I applaud you, Patrick, for being able to do that, and so on and so forth. And I just want to, that Patrick Galvan worked on this movie, Death Hunt, for a very long time. You know, I met Patrick through his movies and through our Facebook, the Sons of Sarasota Facebook group, Toho Nation. And that's how I met Patrick, and Patrick and I started talking. We've become very good friends because of that. And Patrick has told me on several occasions that this took him, I think, 2 years, roughly 2 years for him to make. He made it when he was out of a job, which is, the story of how he made it is hilarious. He made this when he was out of a job, and he said, let's make a movie, and they were like, sure. And so they went out and made a movie. And this was the result. There's a lot of hard work that went into this film, and it clearly shows because the quality of the film is actually pretty damn good, especially the stop-motion aspect of it. But that's a given, considering the fact that Patrick Galvan has made a lot of good stop-motion stuff in the past. And he's currently making a new kind of stop-motion video called The Resurrection of Godzilla. So expectations are high, Patrick. You better not let us down, in other words. Don't pull a Christopher Nolan. Anyways, but yeah. And Death Hunt is loosely based off of Ray Bradbury's The Sound of Thunder, which is an excellent short story. I actually finally was able to read it because of this. It's kind of a, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but I think it's kind of cool that Patrick Galvan, what he did here, was take a Ray Bradbury story and also have a tribute to Ray Harryhausen. For all you enthusiasts of Ray Harryhausen and Ray Bradbury, me, Ray Harryhausen mainly, you know that Bradbury and Harryhausen were very good friends. So I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but I still thought it was a nice little thing. But what Patrick Galvan really did was just take the bare bones idea of Sound of Thunder and just kind of made it into a thriller kind of film and a very kind of man versus wild kind of film, which that's not what the Sound of Thunder really is about. The time travel stuff is still there. You know, the characters are out there, hunting stuff is still there. However, Patrick just focuses on hunting. A Sound of Thunder is nothing but a huge jerk-off of the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect is if you change one tiny thing in the past, it'll just make a gigantic cascading ripple effect in the future. And the Sound of Thunder actually ends with, you know, the main characters going back forward in time and discovering that everything has been taken over by this evil dictator, typical Ray Bradbury. It was all because he stepped on a butterfly. If that isn't screaming the butterfly effect, then I don't know what is. It's kind of like chaos theory, except with less chaos. And seriously, look up all these theories. It is really entertaining to read, and I have to say I do subscribe to both chaos theory, a mixture of chaos theory and the butterfly effect, so that's why I'm not a fan of time travel. But it is... but Patrick Galvan just took that bare bones idea of these two guys travel back in time to hunt a dinosaur. That's the idea of this film, and he made it into kind of a thriller suspense film. I just stated a little earlier that I'm not a fan of time travel. Even in Star Trek, and Star Trek does it a lot, I'm not a big fan of it, because a lot of times Star Trek doesn't do it right. Actually, I don't it's very hard to do it right. It's one reason why I don't really watch the Back to the Future films. I don't like the idea of time travel. I don't think it works, and I don't think it really exists. The only way that there really is time travel, look, I'm talking about metaphysics in a review for a backyard film. Metaphysics is like what they do on Interstellar, speaking of Christopher Nolan. On Interstellar, they do it right. That's the only way we can really time travel, is going through that whole thing where, like, on one planet, because of the gravitational pull and everything, 7 years is equivalent to 20 years on Earth. That's about the only time travel we can really do and really buy. And that's all I really believe that there ever will be for time travel. So I have a hard time buying time travel stuff, especially in my science fiction. I stay away from it like there's no tomorrow. I'm a fan of alternate history. There's a big difference, because alternate history doesn't require time travel. Alternate history is there was an event that happened in your universe at this time that created a chaotic thing. Then again, there's also some time travel stuff that I do like, such as in Planet of the Apes. Star Trek 4 did it really well, and there's some episodes in... especially in the original series episode, City on the Edge of Forever, wonderful stuff there. Don't get me wrong. There's some stuff that does time travel really well. Terminator, for example, the first Terminator movie. Not Genesis. This is going off on a rant that I don't really want to get on. What Patrick did here in his film Death Hunt is basically you have like these poles that are there, and it basically you get shot through time, and they have to be in the same place they have to be at the same exact geographical spot in order for it to work, because it's like a tunnel, and if that is even remotely broken, even if you move it like 2 inches to the right, it fails. I just want to say that that's impossible. Sorry, Patrick. That is impossible, because the whole geographical way of Earth back then was Pangea. Where that would not have been where the Pora would have been geographically later. It would have been either floating in the air, or it would be thousands of feet underground. Sorry, Patrick. But that's what would have happened. Or it could have been even in the ocean. We don't really know. But it wouldn't have worked that way, and I have that problem with Ray Bradbury's story as well. The other thing that I have a major problem with, and I know this is just a backyard film, and Adam, you shouldn't be talking about it, but it fucking does. The nerd in me is going nuts. We wouldn't be able to breathe in the atmosphere 70 million years ago, or however many millions of years ago that this takes place, because there'd be so much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it would be poisonous to breathe. What I would have done, personally, is have the guys wear masks. If you did that, I would have bought it a lot more. I won't even get started on the plants, because what the fuck? You can't do plants. You just cannot do plants. Here's what I would have done to fix the whole geographical thing. What I would have done was I would have had one simple scene that takes place in the present, and it would have been the two guys going in. That's all you really had, just to kind of set up the geographical look of the area, and then have them immediately go into the past, 70 million years in the past, or however many millions of bajillions of blah 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 years it was in the past. Then it would have set up and had the place look completely different. Would have bought it. Would have bought it a lot more. And I want to talk about the characters here. There's two characters. There's Patrick Galvan, who plays the main character, the main protagonist, and his friend. And what I mean by protagonist, these aren't protagonists. These are dirtbag human beings. Just like in Ray Bradbury's story. And I like that. I kind of like dirtbag characters in these kind of things. Actually, before I say that, I just want to say this. It's kind of all over the place, I know, and I have notes, I swear. What I like about this is that Patrick Galvan, of course, didn't have the money or anything like that to make a soundtrack, and this is of course a no-budget film that is never going to make money. That's the thing. He's never meant it to make money. It was just made because him and his friends wanted to have some fun, just like my films Don't Tread on Me, The Iron Cross, and stuff like that. The soundtrack that he used is Jerry Goldsmith's score to The Edge, which The Edge is a survival movie that takes place in Alaska, starring Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin. Excellent movie. Seriously, go watch it. Such an underrated film. For the longest time, I actually considered it one of my favorites, and in some ways I still do. I still heavily enjoy that movie, and I think it's extremely underrated. But that soundtrack is amazing, and I just want to say that it was a very smart decision on Patrick's end to use the soundtrack from that movie and put it here, because both films have a very similar feel to it. Where they begin, they're a group, they're scared, and then eventually Patrick Galvan winds up all alone. And in The Edge, they begin as a group, and as the story goes on, really, if you look at it, Anthony Hopkins winds up all alone. Yeah, Alec Baldwin is there, but Anthony Hopkins is alone. I like that. The themes kind of fit together, and I think the music fit very well, especially the main theme. And especially, Bart the Bear is in The Edge, and he has a very heavy brass, like a drone before, Hans Zimmer raped it. Had a very brassy sort of score. Whenever you heard that, you know that the bear was around. Here, Patrick Galvan used that to represent the T-Rex, which I know it's not a T-Rex, Patrick, but I'm just going to call it a T-Rex, the motherfucking T-Rex. And he uses that for that, and he uses that bomb for the T-Rex, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Even though we don't see the T-Rex, and Patrick Galvan does a great job at both hiding the T-Rex and building up the suspense of the T-Rex, we know he's around because of that music cue. That is a great job, Patrick. You did a better job there with themes in terms of music than I have ever done in any of my movies where I used recycled music. Maybe with the exception of Compound of Chaos, but that was a pre-made soundtrack that I just kind of reworked myself. So that doesn't count. So good job there, Patrick. Anyways, so there's two characters. They're not protagonists. They're despicable human beings. Both are criminals, and both are hunting illegally this dinosaur to set themselves free from some sort of shady organization because they need the ivory in the T-Rex's teeth. Okay, I buy it. I like that. It's a great setup. It's definitely not the typical kind of, thing that we have with time travel kind of stories with them hunting a dinosaur. These aren't just like people like Alan Quartermain or something like that. They're just going out because I need to kill a dinosaur. No, there's a reason why. And so on and so forth. And Patrick's character is very much so the badass, is very much so the guy that's been here, the guy that's done that, the guy that's hunted dinosaurs a lot in his past, the guy that poached dinosaurs, that kind of guy, the guy who's in his element. Well, the other person, I forgot his character's name and I forgot the actor's name, is the new guy. And this also brings me to my complaint with the film. Patrick Galvan, you did a great job with your acting. Your friend. I'm sorry. His acting was terrible. I'm sorry. And I don't mean that in offense. I really don't. But it was pretty bad. And the scene that really comes out with me, in fact, if I was to edit this, I would have cut the scene out completely, to be honest. Or cut at least this section of the scene out completely. Was when we are revealed, both Patrick and this guy and the other guy's backstory. They are revealed there. And the other guy just goes, I killed my whole family. Now, I'm pretty sure what's going on, judging by the tonality of these two people, Patrick Galvan was saying it like, oh, it was nothing. Well, here's the problem with that. Like as in the guy killed his family like it was nothing. He was completely emotionless when he did it, and it didn't affect him whatsoever. Here's the problem with that. The scenes afterwards where he's handling the gun, and the scenes when he's using the machete, state otherwise. state that he has no experience whatsoever with a gun. And however, I do applaud that Patrick's character does have that experience. And like when he's holding the gun, I genuinely feel like he knows what he's doing. The other guy, I don't. I don't feel that way whatsoever. I feel like he's just a friend who went out there and didn't know how to handle a gun. And that's hard to do, granted, and I know that's kind of a nitpicky thing, considering the fact that this is a backyard movie with no budget and just a bunch of friends that are just going out there making a film, like what I do a lot, and I feel like a dick for pointing that out. But a bunch of my friends said that too. And so I just wanted to bring that out, and maybe your next film, maybe you could focus on that more if you focus on guns and stuff like that. Maybe you could focus on it more. Because everything I'm saying here, please do not take it the wrong way. This is me saying I know you can do better. I know you can do better with your next film. That's how the whole SOS crew did with Lake of Death and Compound of Chaos. They reviewed it and tore it apart, and they showed no mercy to me. And that was because not because they were being mean, but because they were like, this is going to better you for your next film. And that's what I'm trying to do here with you, Patrick. If you're watching, please do not take it the wrong way. But that was my complaint with the humor. Other than that, I like Patrick Galvan's character. I like how in the zone he is, where he's just like, this is my area of expertise. This is where I can survive. Like, I love the whole thing with them and a cigarette. The other guy just wants to smoke a cigarette while Patrick's like, no, don't do that. And I love the whole thing with Patrick's like, the dinosaurs are hiding because of the whole human time travel thingy, which the human time travel thingy where they go to the past to do like some tourist acting thingies explains all the garbage and stuff you see in the background. Love that shit. Even though it was only there because they had to find a location and stuff like that, and that's the real reason why. They pulled a Star Trek and were like, well, we can't really do anything because of our low budget, so let's explain it in writing, and that's what Patrick did here. And the whole thing with the cigarette, I love, where it's like, if they smell the cigarette, some of them may be scared by it, but some of them may be attracted to it because it could be potential prey. I love that shit. That's the stuff, that tiny stuff there is what what makes me buy a universe. And Patrick, you sold me on this universe as a person who hates time travel, or doesn't hate, but doesn't like time travel, and as a person who is a chaos theory and butterfly effect enthusiast, you made me buy this universe. So, congratulations. Now, I also want to bring up, I already kind of talked about the T-Rex and everything like that. The T-Rex has that theme and stuff like that. Wonderfully animated. I can't say that enough. There is some ballsy fucking shit when it comes to the animation in this film. My favorite shot in particular when it comes to the animation is when the newbie is climbing up this steep hill and the T-Rex bites his jacket and pulls him back. And if you watch the scene, it's not just a T-Rex just doing that, and it isn't just the actor being like, Patrick off screen could be like, okay, now fall. And then the guy falling. No, you actually see the back of his jacket being pulled with the T-Rex biting it. Which is what stuff, that's the kind of stuff that Ray Harryhausen was an expert at integrating live action and the stop motion puppet. That's what Ray Harryhausen soared at, and that's what Patrick Galvan was soaring at here, though some scenes are more clunkier than others. That was really well done, and I really fucking want Patrick Galvan to do an audio commentary for this film because it makes me curious about how he did it. And I need to applaud Patrick again here because it's something for a movie to be good enough, or a movie to, I'm just really excited, a movie to make me say, I want to go out and make a movie now. What Patrick Galvan did here was make me want to go out and make a sci-fi movie with him. He makes me want to go out there and shoot a dinosaur movie and have him do the stop motion animation in it and make a collaborative film. Take note, Patrick. It makes me want to make movies, so I applaud Patrick for that. But anyways, more on the animation. It is really well done. It's kind of bad because the fight scene is awful. No offense, Patrick, it's just terrible because you have the guy with the machete just kind of waving his arms around like this as the destroyer arms come out of the lake and kind of like attack him like they're going to eat him, like they're going to eat the human characters. It looks fine, except when he starts swatting his machete around like this, and I'm not exaggerating much. And, you know, that kind of ruins the scene because it made me laugh, unfortunately. And yes, I'm aware that that was an apparently that was an improvised scene. But I just would have had him, like, put a little more, like, weight in it. Like, if he hits it, not make it go all the way through, and then have him go again like he's actually hitting something. Something like that. Instead of him just flailing it around like that. Another thing that was cool is that Patrick Galvan added in a lot of insects and stuff like that, which is something that he doesn't do a lot in his other movies because he really can't. Here he put a lot of insects in with the live action stuff. So cool stuff here. A lot of great detail with the special effects. Well worth the 2 years of waiting. I can see why this took so long to make. Just like a regular Ray Harryhausen movie made. For example, Jason and the Argonauts wrapped filming in early 1961. It didn't come out because of how much stop motion, because of how much effort Ray Harryhausen put into special effects. It didn't come out until 1963. That's 2 years later. 2 years after live action filming or live action production had wrapped. That's 2 years of post-production, which is one reason why those movies were so hard to put out so fast, was because it would take so long to do stop-motion animation, and stop-motion animation takes forever to do. You have to have so much patience to do that. So I applaud Patrick for being able to do that. And so in this film, it's just chock full of it. I love the animation with the T-Rex. He had a character to the T-Rex, like the T-Rex drinking, the T-Rex drinking and then looking up, the T-Rex hearing stuff and then looking over at it, the T-Rex and how he moves and how he walks and how he's plotting. Great stuff. Patrick Galvan, you have made a wonderful, dedicated, a wonderful film in terms of dedication to Ray Harryhausen. I could not see a film being, unless if it was like a major Hollywood thing, really be more of a love letter to Ray Harryhausen than this. I'm pretty sure that if Ray Harryhausen was shown this, like if you showed this to Ray Harryhausen, or if I showed this, or somebody showed this to Ray Harryhausen, he would have been very tickled by it. He would have been like, oh, thank you. He would have liked it. I'm not going to rate this film. I'm not going to rate this film out of 4. I'm not going to rate this out of anything. Because this is a backyard film, and I feel like I'd be doing it an injustice of rating it. And like, if I gave it, I'd be biased towards it, or more biased towards it than like a film like The Green Slime. No, I'm not that kind of biased. Like, I mean, I'd be kind of like slacking off and giving it a higher rating. But yet I feel like if I gave it a lower rating, basing it off of all these Hollywood films, I would be doing the film in service and make it look like I hate the movie. So I'm not going to rate it, but I am going to recommend it. Do go out and watch it. I know that I only have a couple hundred people that are going to watch this video, but go watch it. I'll put a link in the description. Wonderful film. Fun film. It's only 43 minutes long, so whatever. Take it or leave it. So, do like AN Productions on Facebook. Subscribe to The Unknown 837 for more stuff. Subscribe to me. Like my video. Leave a comment if you've seen this film, telling us how you liked it. And if you hated it, leave a comment. I like debate. Join Toho Nation if you so wish. If you want a bunch of geeks to talk about Godzilla and other things geekdom related, not just sci-fi or Godzilla. Like AN Productions. Like my new movie, Which Way They Walk, which production resumes in September. We're coming right up. And this is Adam Noyce of AN Productions saying, sayonara.